Inflation comes in slightly weaker than expected. The market rejoices, and the price of Bitcoin doesn't really do anything, I suppose. Well, it depends. Yesterday, we talked about the retracement, this weird textbook bearish divergence that was playing out. Price action was making higher highs, MACD and the RSI making lower highs, even a bearish cross. So the chart said something, and saving any fundamental brouhaha that would probably play out. So what did we see? Nothing. We didn't see any fundamental brouhaha. So the charts more or less played out. Now, sometimes you have to ask yourself, is technical analysis just a self-fulfilling prophecy? You know, people see the same thing. I expect that every analyst out there was probably saying the same thing. I would expect. Now, if they didn't, you got to ask yourself, what the hell do they know? Because that was the most textbook bearish divergence I think I've ever seen. For sure, I've ever seen. I've never seen bearish divergence like that, and it played out. Now, our ultimate play out was down here at the 61.8% fib. The golden ratio is at 99.5, but she stalled out through a wick down to 107. So we got the bulls coming back and defending 100K, which is probably the most important factor of if there was anything to write home about yesterday, it was the fact that the bulls came in and protected 100K. Because we're at that time, we're at that moment in time where if we get down below 100K, it's almost like a fighter, you know, getting knocked down and a technical knockout 3 times. You know, at some point, the corner, which is social sentiment, bulls in general, and John and Ed, remember the 2 retail traders that left? Those guys might throw in the towel if we go under 100K again. Nothing's for sure. This is speculative. But you can see the more we go under it, the less bullish the market becomes. Now, I might argue right now that we're just in a consolidation. When we zoom out, of course, this is just noise. Just noise. I mean, it's upward noise. It could be worse. It could be downward noise. And then, holy smokes, people will be losing. You can see here, we had a bunch of it. We've had nothing but bearish divergence, even back here. Did play out slightly, but we do have good bullish support when the price drops. So that's the thing. Matty B puts the B in Bitcoin. Best way to start the crypto day. This show right here. P.S. Duke is really the star. That's true. That's true. Well, one might say I'm still doing this just to keep the channel for Duke when he gets older. Because, you know, ask Carl, getting the subs to and, you know, to be able to live stream and then monetize takes forever. So one day I will just give him the password to this and he'll off to the races, Duke. And you'll never see me again. And we also found support at our Channel of Ascension's Resistance, now acting as support, which we talked about in the video yesterday. And that's what I like to see too. Look how we respect these. 1,000 subscribers. You never know, Carl Elder. Like, my advice to you for 1,000 subscribers would be put on a bikini and put a cat on a counter. And then if the cat falls off and you're in a bikini, that video could go viral. And then next thing you know, you have 1 million subs. Right? So you never know. Or you can do the old-fashioned way and grind it out every day for years. Hopefully it's the previous, not the latter. Would I recommend the YouTube game for anybody? No. I'd recommend it for kids. What color bikini, Carl? It's a good question. Depends on the body type, really. Because if the body type is mint, doesn't matter what color it is. Now, if the body type isn't mint, well, color seems to factor in people's subjective version of how it looks, in the same way that bad sound at a gig is subjected to the listener. So what I mean by that, sometimes when we're doing a gig, there's a sound guy there. Now here's like social awareness 101 as a gigger in the gig economy. If I see a sound guy, I don't like it, because sound guys are generally the most jaded individuals in the whole event, right? Because they kind of live in this bunker of, I'm no longer a musician, I'm doing sound. It's almost like they capitulated into, like, the Plinko chips found a little thing, sound guy. Oh, that's what I'll do. I'll be a sound guy. But really, they're musicians that are usually bass players or drummers. And then they take out their angst on the existing performers. Bitcoin Bikini, I like that. Black Hat Team. And so they're very snarky. Some are great. Obviously, people are people. But in my experience, if you piss off a sound guy, well, he can ruin your show. And I've talked to sound guys who have told me how they ruin shows. So, for instance, there is, like I was talked about before, auto-tune and whatnot, live auto-tune. And most of these boards have their own version. So what this one guy did, he was in Thunder Bay. This is with the Blackout City Kids. We went with a couple of young DJs that would DJ in the bar I had. We're like, well, let's take these young DJs up to Thunder Bay. They were such a hit that the second night we opened for them. I mean, and all they had was a thumb drive with a pre-recorded set list, right? But that's another story. The sound guy told us that if he didn't like the band, he auto-tuned the singer one semitone up. Now, that's a horrific story, because this is what that sounds like. This is the singer in key. Now, if you went one semitone up, now this is what it would sound like when he was singing. Everything sounds like this. Imagine people coming into the stream right now wondering what the hell I'm talking about. You can see how he would ruin it. Now, how that comes back to Carl Elder's Bikini is that anyone in the crowd would just hear the band and think the band sucks, even though the band might be great. But if the sound sucks, people just go, how was the band? I didn't like it. They don't know. They don't know that the sound's off, or there's no bass, or the sub's not working, or God forbid the sound guy auto-tuned. So when it comes back to Carl Elder's Bikini, if the body is mint, the band sounds good, doesn't really matter what the band's wearing. People like it. The band doesn't sound good. Doesn't really matter the color of the bikini anyway, because everyone's going to say, I don't like it. Now, Carl Elder, when you do wear that bikini, please send us a picture in the what is it called? What is that thing? I can't believe I got to look at it. What is it called? That feed that we all participate in. What the hell is it called? I can't believe I'm forgetting it. Discord. God. Discord. Can you believe it? You guys are probably sitting there going, yelling at the screen, Discord, God damn it, Discord. So yeah, we'll be expecting a bikini picture in the Discord. Back to the TA. Now you can see we have a long hair don't care wick at our channel of Eternal Monotony's Resistance at 105.7. That would be my goal, you know, in the bullish light. Now we don't know what's going to happen today, because Carl Elder, I'll do it main stage of the Bitcoin conference. That should get me 1,000 subs for sure. For sure it would. Like it, don't fade the bikini theory, Carl. All else fail. Let's say you're grinding it out. You know, 2 years down the road, you're up at 400 subs or something. Don't fade the bikini. Like, we won't think less of you if you go for the bikini road. Hell, I might do it. You know, maybe get to 20,000 subs by the time I'm 70, if with a bikini pic. Enough of that. Where is this? What is this prediction here? Is this the bull flag? Yeah, this is the bull flag. What would take us to 112. Cash. Bullish on parade. Don't forget to wax first. Ah, dog. This is going off the rails fast this Tuesday morning. So as long as we can stay above this channel of ascension's resistance, we're in good shape in a consolidatrix type of way. Nothing really happening. Now, I'm surprised the market hasn't reacted more bullish to the CPI inflation coming in a little weak. Because, although sometimes when I think about what, these economic metrics, I can't remember where we are in the reverse psychology. Is this good news again, or is this bad news? Because there's so many layers of it. So generally, CPI coming in lower means that there would be a more dovish application to the future. If like even at the bare minimum, it just means no more rate hikes. Obviously, sometimes that could mean maybe we could release some pressure, or he can, Jerry Pow, and maybe reduce rates. That would be another, that's what that means. But sometimes, in the bear market, you don't even know what the fundamentals will do. They can rock back and forth. Who knows what the hell was going to happen, right? So between the bear market, I have like fundamental PTSD. I can't remember where we're at. Is this good news or is this bad news? Because depending on the market state, good news can be bad news can be good news. You never know on the ding dong. You can see here a massive rejection off both our channel of eternal monotony's resistance and our channel of ascension's resistance. Perfect. If there's one thing that fascinates me about technical analysis is the respect that these lines, these arbitrary lines, these arbitrary doodles. Scotty Mo sent me that shirt. The doodle game, underrated due to pianomattyb bikini. Yes. How they will just go into the future, respect these lines. I always say the market has memory. And that's why putting these in your charts, you can instantly see where you are. And that helped us for this one. Where is it? Is it right here? Remember this one? This was a happy story because right here is where we had to get over, and we blew past it with arguably 3 hella bullish green candles. Now, even if we break under 100K, it's possible. Anything's possible. I wouldn't really be worried unless we came back under this metric again. This is that metric. This is where we generally can't stay above after our all-time high. We pull back, go back to any bull run, all-time high, we pull back, then we come up to the 38.2% area. And if we get rejected from it, we generally, in a state of denial, wander into a crypto winter again. That's happened before with 4 data points. Now, you might argue there's just not enough data points to really go off the 4-year cycle. That's all we got, right? So whether it's 4 or 12 or 1, it's all we got. So we'll kind of stick to that one. Tex-Mex Biomex. pianomattyb can be on the cover of the bikini pick calendar for the Bitcoin conference. Well, it's funny you say that, Tex-Mex Bitcoin, because Biomex. I've been trying to put together a calendar for Kyle and I because we have so many thumbnails. All our catfish thumbnails. They'd make a great. Let's see. This just looks like it's a little awesome. There we go. It would make such a great calendar, but I can't find a drop ship type thing. So these shirts, the shirts that people have bought, it's from spring, and they don't exist until you buy them. So I can just make up all these designs, and if no one buys them, oh well, right? But if people buy them, then they print them. So I'm looking for a calendar type of service that does that as well, but I can't find it. So the last thing I want to do is, have to order 500 calendars for 2000. Imagine like the ticking away of the year. Order 500, minimum order 500 calendars, and then the year's just ticking by, and we're in like September. Well, no one's really going to buy the calendar. So if I can find a drop ship type of on-demand calendar, digital calendar maker, I'll make one, because people have asked, and normally I'll only make things that people ask. You know, there are some creative leeway that I take just out of my own artistic boredom. But usually, if someone asks for something multiple times, I'll try to make it. And people have asked for a calendar multiple times, so I would do it. I just can't find it. So if anyone sees one of those things, drop me a line in the old Discord, right? Or I mean, you can DM me on Twitter. I think that happens. I'm not sure if it's restricted. Back to the weekly chart. This is, to me, is good news, bad news. So we're back into our channel of ascension, which is good news. I mean, obviously, we want to be here, but we're finding our headwinds again here. Best bullish scenario for the week would be to close upwards. Let's call it 105K. That would be the highest weekly close in Bitcoin's history. I know it sounds weird, right? The highest Bitcoin weekly close in history would be 105. That all these metrics are bullish because they now state more all-time high-ishness instead of getting rejected. We want to see as many as little rejections as possible as we approach all-time highs. Obviously, because we want to bust through them and hit the next ones, the 112. I got 117K-ish here. I wonder what I meant by that, because none of these things, I always keep these doodles on here just so I can remember what the hell I was talking about. And I can't remember why I've had 117. It must be from like a previous chart, like a daily or something. Or is this just where we're going to break out of here? No, that's 110. 110, we basically break out. Let's say beginning of June. Can you believe? Oh my God, it just dawned on me. In 2 weeks, it's the beginning of June. That's wild. That means we're halfway done 2025. So much for the calendar. Halfway through. I'd still get it. Carl Elder, I'd have to do the carnivore diet before the bikini shoot. Yeah, you know, the crazy thing about the carnivore diet is that if you have excess weight, you'll drop it in 2 weeks, if not a week. So what I've learned in the past little while, so I don't know if I've shared this, but around the 1 year mark, I introduced fruit back. Not all fruit. I mean, oranges, really. But man, did I ever go back into my sugar habit with the introduction back of oranges. It was almost like, now if you're a smoker, you'll remember this, a cigarette smoker in your past life, or even right now. I remember as a smoker a long time ago when I was a stupid idiot kid and adult. Sometimes I was just doing things to have a cigarette, you know, like, oh, let's have some. I wasn't even hungry. Let's eat just to have the cigarette, or let's have a beer just to have the cigarette. Right. So everything was like front running, just the inevitable cigarette. I found when I introduced oranges back, I was just eating I was like, I don't care about the steak anymore. I just want the oranges, you know? So I was eating to get the oranges. Right. And I realized I could see myself slipping into the sugar addiction, which we all have. Like beyond anything, at our best performance as humans, we're sugar addicts. And it's everywhere, right? So I got rid of it again. But now I know. Oh, but here's the key factor about that. Because I introduced sugar back, I went up 6 pounds, like within a week. Just boom, I was back to 200. Like I've been 200 pounds since I was 20 or maybe even 17. And it wasn't until carnivore where I immediately dropped to like 192, 93. And I don't think I wear that weight well. I think I look maybe a little too thin. 92, 93. So I try to, you know, hover around 200, but I can on the carnivore diet. I literally, I can eat everything, but unless I put a little bit of sugar in, a little bit of sugar. Now, what is a little bit of sugar? I'm talking about 3 to 6 mandarin oranges a day, you know, maybe more. I may be even lying to myself here, but sometimes 3, sometimes 6 over the day, right? And that in itself jumped me up to 6 or 7 pounds in a week. So it's quite crazy what sugar can do to you. Multi-sig dummy, pianomattyb. Am I delusional for looking at an all-time high of 240? No. You're definitely not delusional. I would say that all metrics, why I think that is almost inevitable, is that we've never seen I was talking to a guy yesterday. He's asking me what my thoughts on the future of Bitcoin was. And I'm like, well, if you were to tell me 4 years ago that the presidential administration would be all Bitcoiners and they would have a strategic Bitcoin reserve in the makes, we haven't really seen it play out yet, so to speak. And every zombie corporation was aping in to save their business via Bitcoin, I would say you're crazy. Maybe in 12 years, maybe 20 years, who knows? But the fact that that's happening now is almost mind-blowing. It's almost too much for the market to ingest. Because I'll tell you this one thing, that the person I was talking to yesterday was in charge of maybe the biggest hedge fund / asset manager in Manitoba. There might be bigger ones, I don't know. But anyway, not only do they not have any exposure to Bitcoin, he was telling me that there's not a lot of people that are even asking him about it, which is bizarre. So my question to him was, what are your takes on the validity of Bitcoin, knowing that the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve, Howie Lulu's, Cantor Fitzgerald, David Sachs, all the ducks by the pond are massive Bitcoiners. Does it change your value proposition on the potential of Bitcoin? And his answer was kind of a shoulder shrug. Like, it doesn't really matter. Now, what's not surprising to me is that when you exist in a walled garden, so to speak, of slow growth. I mean, they're not an aggressive asset manager. They're just slow growth. And the people appreciate that, because a lot of people will put money into these things and say, hey, listen, I don't care what happens. Just don't lose me any money. And that's music to their ears, because it's easy to slightly outpace inflation, like essentially dumping it into the S&P 500, but not really saying it's just one index fund. So slow growth and mitigated risk is music to the ears of these people, because that's easy. Ask one of these guys, I want aggressive, high risk returns. Now they actually have to do what they were trained for 40 hours to do, if you know what I mean. Where are we here on the monthly? This is the we looked at this chart a while ago. Q3 2021 of the bull run. You can see we had epic 34, opened it at 34, roughly 100% gain in the bull run Q3. We are in what does this say? Oh yeah, we're in Q2. We just had such an epic gain of Q4 in 2024. So it really is a little bit of a bizarre bull run, to have that. Let's take a look at the Q4 of 2020. Still pretty damn bullish. 10K to 30K. That's, 2X. Pretty good. So these Q4s have been quite bullish pre bull run year. Now, how do we end last bull run, 2024 Q4? All-time high, and then that was it, skis. We kind of petered out into the bear run. Now, what would that look like if we're in Q2? If we were to play this out, Q2, we hit our first all-time high, so to speak, right here. Down to Q3, the bull run's over. Oh, you can't see that. Bull run's over. Get me out of here. I'm selling. John and Ed leave again. And then boom, we go up into Q4, hit another all-time high, and slink down. Now, we are only in Q2. We've hit our all-time high of our 2025 bull run so far. It feels like we're almost getting pretty close to getting back to that. Now, what was the Q3? Oh, so we ended Q2 hella bearish. Now, what is it? June? Is it January, February, March, April, May, June. Right, June. So we got one more month here. Could we end up hella bearish like quarter two, 2021? Yeah. I mean, anything can happen, right? But quarter three, 2021, probably the most bullish. 1 and 3, actually. We're not going to do the wicks because who cares about the wicks? 34K, 60K, 1x, 100%. 100% from there. Let's, see what 100% from here was. I always underestimate how small this has to be to do 100%. At 100% from here. What is that? 208K. So back to multi-sig dummy. 240, slightly more bullish than 100% gain, which we saw. We've seen this happen. It's happened before. Can't see that. Damn it. I'll have to do it again. There's not enough real estate on this. Let's go like this. Slow it down. There we go. Okay, we'll make it all miniature like those baby videos that are going viral right now, which I watch every single one of them. 100%. Yeah, 206K. Now that would be very nice. And to me, I would still be like, not enough. It's really not enough. Considering the bullish fundamentals that we are experiencing right now. I've also seen a lot of arguments about the broken cycle. Now, there's a lot of credence to why the broken cycle could be a thing. Now, do we do this every cycle? Yeah. Every cycle, the cycle's broken until it isn't. And then everyone's like, yeah, turns out it's not broken. It played out exactly how it's always played out. But my argument against that, if I am projecting an argument, would be that the cycle has been different. Our run up in 2024, essentially we've been in a pretty amazing bull run since 2023. So the pain, if there's any takeaway from most of you who have been here with me since 2021, 22, it wasn't that the 2022 bear market wasn't that painful, actually. We were well aware that we were in diminishing returns and we were going to hit crazy bottoms, which we did. But as soon as we did it, we were basically off to the races for 3 years. For 3 years. And I remember telling people back when it was 15,000. It's like, historically, this is the bottom. You be a good time to get some exposure to Bitcoin. It's arguably at the bottom. Now, could it go lower? Yeah, it could. It could have gone lower. It could have gone to 10, 12, whatever, right? But would you have remembered, let's say you gave up on, you waited till 12K or, would you have remembered the great patience you had? No, you'd just be so thankful that you got in at, 12, but it was actually 15 when it happened. So now that's going to come again. And I'm kind of thinking that 100K might be our new 15,000. So let's say it plays out and we hit like a 208, right? Because we're going to have some psychological headwinds at 200K just because these big numbers. What does Grok think about the Bitcoin banana zone chart? I haven't asked Grok. I haven't set up Grok for some reason because this computer's been pretty funny because it's getting to that age where it starts doing things it never did, even though it's a pretty decent computer. So Grok all of a sudden doesn't talk, can't hear it. And so what happens in a scenario like this is that there's no way to test things on a live stream, right? Carl, you might want to, here's some information. There's no way to test things on a live stream. So echoes that happen, charts that don't come up, Duke's little thing that comes up here, you can only tell if it works on a live stream, right? So a lot of times when I was doing that Grok's thing, which I would like to do that all the time. It's great talking to Grok. It works right up to the live stream. Yeah, I'm testing it, testing all the audio, ad nauseum. I got to test this shit. And then as soon as the live stream goes, certain things in your computer. Now, maybe doing a live stream, even on a powerful computer, is hard, and it just zaps all the energy out of every application in your CPU or whatever the hell it is. You don't really know until you're live streaming. So the past couple times I've used Grok here, it didn't work. And I think without the voice, it doesn't have the same impact. Now, are we going to see it's 8:30 right now. We should have a market reaction to the CPI. Now, you know what I always think? I always think when we have a run up to a bullish, we don't know what on this. When we have a run to a bullish, and I would say lower inflation is a little bit of a bullish fundamental. It is. I mean, how can it not be? When we have a run up to it, I always think we're going to have a breakdown from it. I would personally rather see a little bit of a pullback before the market reacts to the inflation. Now, I do think it's going to be a bullish reaction. It just may take time for the market to digest it. It feels like the digestive tract of the market is that of a candy eating, starch and carb induced male diet for 50 years. It's just not really acting that great. And tune, if it's Mac, then you're screwed. That's just making your device obsolete through updates and the black. Yeah. So, you gotta, right now, I'm being screamed at by this computer, by my phone, by the iPad. Update. You can update. Just plug us in. You don't have to do anything. Just plug us in before you go, but we'll do it for you. No, I've been down this road. I update and all of a sudden nothing works, or if they really wanted to make updates great, and I know this is easier said than done, make it so when you update it, nothing changes. And then now all the, the computer programs are like, well, that's not how it works. There's so many moving parts to these things. Well, you do one thing and change it. It's like a butterfly flying in Africa and you have a storm in Alaska. I get it. But that's why I don't update till the last second. I'll even do some research. How's the updates going? And I'll, go on Reddit or something. And if people say it's been flawless and it's okay, then I'll do it. But whatever. Until then, I'm not going to do it. So here we are. I would say that my bullish outlook for today is 105 based on the inflation reading. Now, will that actually happen? Hey, I don't know. It feels like for the amount of bullish fundamentals we've had on Sunday, with the, it's very camouflage bullish trade narrative. It wasn't, you could read into it. It appeared bullish, but it was kind of a nothing burger. Maybe the market's smart enough to know that now. I don't know. We'll see. I was expecting more, especially too, that the fact that there's no massive pump on the CPI. It's early. It's early. It could be, we could see it maybe in the next half hour.
This guy's talking the only you can actually own. You can take ownership yourself. Nobody can take it off you unless you choose to give it to them. No one can prove you still have access to it. You can send it to anybody in the world, wherever, without anyone's permission. Anybody can send it to you, and it can move at the speed of light. You can carry it in your head. It's the only thing you can own. And so when the system is dying, people start exploring these routes of trying to store their value and escape the system. None of the other things escape the system. The gold in the gold vault will get.
I was wondering about this when I saw this video. Can you escape the system with Bitcoin? And until it's used as a valid currency, I don't know if you can. Because the off-ramps, it's like you'll be met with the same friction as anything. Let's say you're trying to avoid who knows what, but you have some wealth in Bitcoin. You need it to get out of the country or, buy a plane. It's the only money you have. Gets pretty weird. Now, I do think that'll change in this bull run. I think we will have more off-ramps that are maybe outside of the system, or, unpopular opinion, this is just 4D chess for the new monetary system. And then at the end, it's just like the old one.
The properties will get taxed and then seized. Everything, even the stock market. You own a promise on a promise on a promise.
Terry Crow, I imagine that a normal ticket would get to where your pianomattyb was playing. I don't think so, actually, because it's the backstage of the main stage. So it's kind of like a green room area of sorts. So I'm not sure what if I would imagine that, you know, that's where everyone would be hanging out before they do their speeches. So I'm not sure if it's an attainable thing, but that doesn't matter. Terry Crow, are you going to Vegas or what? I don't know if you've ever responded with that. But regardless of that, if that's one of those bigger ticket entrance things, we will, you know, we'll find a way to meet up.
Shares may not have even settled. They're in a different institution.
Yeah.
Like, it's a total mess, but it's stacked on promises. And again, you own it with the permission of the government, with the permission of your stockbroker, with the permission of your every layer in the chain. You don't really own it. The only thing you can actually own is Bitcoin.
Earth's magnetic pole is on the move, and scientists just updated its position. Oh, you mean in January? The media, corporate press.
I've been struggling with this guy, Tim. What's his name? Tim something? Tim Cast. I feel like he's the kind of guy that I just wouldn't. I like YouTubers who I feel or content creators who I feel I would be a buddy with. I don't think I'd be buddies with Tim. He's kind of annoying.
Scientists said the magnetic poles are shifting.
Of Trump and Vance. In your mind, what have they done that deserves to be? You're calling for the impeachment of Trump and Vance. In your mind, what have they done that deserves?
I could get locked in these liberal meltdowns all day, watch them forever.
To be impeached.
I believe Elizabeth Warren gave 100 examples of that on his 100th day.
Oh, yeah, I didn't hear her comments. Can you name a few?
The number of points of corruption that he has. I mean, I don't even know where, I'm sorry, speechless. Don't even know where to begin. I mean, from insider trading to pardoning friends who donated to his campaign, pardoning their family members. The list goes on and on. The corruption is obvious.
With regards to those pardons, did you feel the same way about Joe Biden when he pardoned his family?
Hell no.
You know, that is not something.
Make sure you like and subscribe.